up everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in, I really appreciate it. So today's video is going to be somewhat of a continuation of my last video, and by that I mean I'm going in with the same palette I did last time. The reason for that is because the only time I dip into my makeup dresser or like all the makeup that I have is when I film. On a daily basis, I'm using this magnetic palette where I have these eyeshadows and highlighter and blush that I'm trying to pan. And so if I'm only using these on my channel, I feel like nobody's going to want to watch it. So this gives me the chance to really dip into my palettes and decide whether I like them or not. And it'll also give my channel a little more variety because I'm starting to get into that mentality where if I featured a palette already, I have to move on. Especially because a lot of my palettes are things that have released like in the last year, and I can't afford to be buying the newest palette for every single video. So yeah, and also I hope it helps you guys out because sometimes like with this palette, when I first got it, when I first released, I took a really long time deciding whether I wanted to buy it or not because these aren't typically the color stories I go for, and it was hard for me to like look at this palette and be like, oh, this goes together, that goes together. And it wasn't until I started watching other people's videos and like Instagram posts that use this palette that I really started to like understand how to use it. So yeah, I'm going to be using this in this video and probably the next video. That's my goal, 3 videos per palette. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this little series that I'm starting, if that makes sense. And if you want to see how I got this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, so like I said in the intro, we're gonna go in with the So Jaded palette. I'm gonna focus on kind of just these 3 right here, these yellow and like purpley berry colors. And I'm gonna start off by going into the shade Garnet, which is the kind of dark berry shade, and I'm gonna put that on the crease and the outer corner. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Ametrine, which is that like, I almost dropped my mirror, which is this like purple shade. It's kind of sparkly, but with these that kind of have like glitter in them, but they're matte, the glitter doesn't show up at all, so it's kind of weird. Now I'm going to go back into the shade Garnet, which was that first shade we used, and I'm just going to kind of build it up here on the outer corner. And then taking that brush I was using to blend, I'm not adding any more product, I'm just going to blend out the edges. Now that that's done, nice and blended, I'm gonna go in with the color Citrine, which is the yellow in the palette. And before I do that, I'm actually gonna add just a little bit more primer onto the lid so that this yellow really sticks on. Does anybody else have this palette? Let me know. I love Kathleen and I love collabs, just like you guys know, but this one was I was really iffy about it. Like, it took me a really long time to finally get it because every time I looked at the color scheme, I was like, I just don't know how to use that palette. So far I've been able to create some looks, but I don't know, this palette just like, it's really hard for me to like look at it and be like, oh yeah, this works together, that works together. The only way I kind of like figured it out is because someone said that when you look at the palette, you can make quads. So like this little quad right here is one look, this quad in the middle is another look, this quad over here is another look. And so that's just kind of how I figured it out, I guess. And I hate that this doesn't have a mirror. Okay, I'm just cleaning the brush off on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna diffuse it as much as I can. Okay, just dipping back into citrine to kind of intensify the yellow. Wiping all the excess product off on the back of my hand. I probably should get another brush, but all my brushes are behind me and I'm too lazy to get up. And I'm just gonna try and blend out the edges. Okay, and that's the eye look. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm back. Both eyes are done. I did blend up the like purpley berries a little too high, so I'm gonna take the color My Precious in the palette. It's just like a cream shade. And I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use it to kind of highlight the brow bone, but also like hide some of that purple. Not a lot. I just feel like it'll help kind of clean it up a bit. Okay, now that I'm done with that, I'm just gonna take the garnet color. Actually, no. I'm gonna take the shade Ruby, which is pretty much the same as garnet. It's just shimmery. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna blend that onto the lower lash line. Now to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go into this shade here, which is Smoky Quartz, and I'm going to put that onto the lower, not the lower lash line, the inner corners of my eye. Lastly, I'm going to go into the shade Pearl, and I'm going to highlight the arch of my brow bone.